Karis?
That will be the first one.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
And then, the attorney stuff that was taken care of this morning.
Okay.
See, what we would do is we would say, okay, yeah, in this case, we'd say, okay, it's gonna be here. So we can cross it. Yeah, cause they already did that, but we can address it, that's been already done. And taken care of. See, otherwise it was like, okay, we do that, and then it goes to the next week. We've got a lot of things going. It's like, they took care of it today.
Okay.
We can make mention that Brent here and the county attorney does that, and then he will assign somebody else who has a copy.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? I'll leave the audio recording.
I see the electronic coming here.
Yeah.
I gave you that there when I gave it to you.
Don't tell her that.
Thank you, Laura. Hi, Carolyn.
That's all I have for the zoning.
Hi, Wendy.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for jumping in.
If there's ever anything.
For doing that.
I only got like a.
If you'd let me talk, I'd have told you thank you then, but oh well. I know you mean. Persecution from yes.
Would you like those while you're out of work?
That was good.
Yeah.
He kept things moving. It was good.
Yeah, it's still a 2-hour meeting.
Hey, we got through a lot. You can't. It takes a while.
You have to think. Heather, she did all the labor. I hit up the NRCS.
Mom's not very patient, is she?
Use any federal funds without waivers. You can't use any But I mean,
But there's no, nothing outstanding. Thank you, everybody. I'll go around.
I think he wants to put. Did you bring the donuts tonight? Or?
no, that was your.
Oh, you didn't get the memo. Dennis brought them last time.
It's up to the administrator.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to delegate. We always had the rule at work, oh, the new guy buys, you know, so he's the newest. Karen didn't make the pie.
Karen does not make pies, I can tell you that. Yeah, but I didn't make it. We're all about transparency. I didn't make it.
I know you get one out there now.
He's just. And I don't think he's gonna have it. Yeah. this one here, it's about a sandwich. He was gonna fix this. We went over.
What's that? We had a very good meeting, very good business. Necessary.
The easiest way around that is to take the trailer. Park trailers.
As the world turns.
That's his way out.
Yeah, and then what they do is.
I was in there.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. And we need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a
Oh, wait a
motion.
minute, I'm sorry. Nancy's gonna lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for participating. And thank you all for coming.
Mike, I believe I forgot to mention to you, I had mentioned to the others, there's two sets of minutes, because the last meeting minutes, it was just noted that there weren't any questions or concerns, and then they didn't actually get roll call to approve them, so those are included as well, the previous to these.
We need to approve the agenda. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
I'll second it.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We need to approve the minutes, not of the last meeting, but the meeting before. So we need a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Shelley. Second,
I'll second it.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Nikki. We need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting. If everybody's had a chance to look at them, read through them, there's a copy on the table.
Can we have some
Questions?
discussion now, or do you want a motion first?
If you have questions on it, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I had asked Bob to forward these to me so I could read through them. It was a very long meeting, it was nearly 3 hours on the 12th of November. I was surprised that the minutes were as brief as they were. there were a couple corrections, I'll go to those first. Second page, motion carried 3 yes to 3 no. It was 2 no. It was 3 yes to 2 no. That correction, and then he also said meeting was adjourned at 7:52. The vote was actually taken at 8:45, so the meeting adjourned more like 8:52, not 7:52. So that correction. And then, I was glad to see that, points were made as to folks that had been here, the public, and what they had said, concerns they had. But then when he went to address the actual board members, there was no discussion, there was no clarification as to the reason I voted no, or Nikki voted no. It just said, board members then went into discussion on the matter, and then the motions for how it all ended up. So I just think these are inadequate. I don't wanna shake the vote here, rattle too many cages, but I just, I think it'd be a disservice to this board. Be a little more complete. Yeah,
Okay.
if we could at least indicate why we voted.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, all future votes will have a reasoning for voting no.
Yes.
And you state that in, okay? So that should help clarify things too.
So I don't know if we just vote to table the November 12th minutes until, these things can be,
Added.
or corrected. I mean,
Okay. We'll table that until the next meeting, okay?
We will need to go over several points on that. That is on audio recording and video recording. And when I asked about the duration of these minutes and how I was advised that by counsel and everything that not to go too far in depth and lengthen them out. We can make whatever changes you would like, but they tried to keep them as brief as possible because we have video and audio as well. So, and that is public, I mean, anybody can get those if they like. So, for the purposes of printing and stuff too, the things go to the paper. You do a whole 3-hour meeting. I had brought that up and asked about it for previous, because I had noticed that some of them were written out that way, and I asked if they need to be word for word like that off of the audio.
Did council suggest not to go into great detail, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that did not need to be, but I mean, we can make them however you want. I mean, whatever corrections you want, that's up to you, and,
Okay.
and we'll do it, but when you're putting things in the paper or anything then too, that's a lot more, so. Happy to make them however you want. It's basically bring it to them.
Yeah, I would,
Would you like to table it? What would you like to do?
anybody else have any opinion?
I don't think it needs to be on, the whole 3-hour meeting or anything either, but on the finer points, like you said, if we're gonna add that on from now on, why we were voting and
Yes,
the way we were
yeah.
voting, but that could have been in there.
So I would say just, put the request in writing and then we'll confer and, get it in there the way that's acceptable, how you like them. And then they can be approved the next meeting then.
Okay.
You want,
Yeah, I mean, we'll do them however you want.
Nancy, you and Nikki want to make up your notes to send, get them off to Bob?
Well, he's got the audio. I just wanted more clarification in there rather than just the board discussed. Actually state some of the reasons that I gave as to what I voted on.
Okay.
I just, that's all. I mean, there was more time spent here on, 4 or 5 other people that made comments, and I'm fine with that. That's great, but then it was just like 2 sentences when it came to this actual
Board
body
members.
and how we voted.
So you'd like to table it and make some adjustments, is that our understanding?
That's probably best.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that then.
Yeah, so do you want me to make a motion we table?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I will make a motion that the November 12th minutes be tabled at this time for clarification and the 2 corrections for the actual vote, how it was taken. It wasn't 3-3, it was 3-2, and then the meeting adjourned an hour later than what it indicated.
I'll second
Okay, thank you, John. All in favor?
it. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've been advised that Brent has been approved as a county attorney. If there's a conflict with him, then he will go to outside counsel to address any issues that there's a conflict with him. We are going to discuss, get your papers out here correctly. Anthony James Harris request. You step forward, state your name and why you're here. What you're applying for, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it. My name's Anthony James Harris. I'm here to, I don't remember what it's called, conditional permit.
It's for a federal firearms license to sell, manufacture firearms in your home.
From my home, yeah.
In your home, okay. So you're asking us to approve using a portion of your home to run your business on it.
Yes.
Okay. Do you currently have your FFL or you?
No, this is.
You have to get this first?
Before.
Okay,
they'll
okay.
issue that.
Okay. Questions from the board?
So this is going to be in your home where you're living? And so when I was looking at the diagrams, this room, are you able to lock it?
Yeah, it's got doors on each end that are lockable and then a couple windows that can be gated too. And I've got 5 safes, I've got lots of security.
Can I ask how old your children are? I mean, and.
Yeah, my
only
son's
reason
15, my daughter's 13.
Okay, because you mentioned in your request that you were doing this partly for showing your children, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, you bet.
Security system on premise.
I have cameras, I haven't put them up yet. Cameras and DVR.
Does an FFL require security cameras and alarms and things like that? I don't know, just
I
asking.
think they do require some type of.
That's what I was thinking, is they may, go ahead, sure.
Excuse me.
To answer a few of the questions, I know personally some folks that have gone through the FFL process and are also doing the same thing. I know that the ATF will and does have requirements and mandates that the FFL holder, depending on the class of FFL that they get, have certain requirements for locks, and not just a turnkey lock, more of a, I know, fingerprint locking, digital code locking, to even access the area where the guns will be stored in another secure environment. So I do know personally that the ATF will, and I know that, I mean, I remember you as Tony, so if I call you Tony.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Tony does go through that whole FFL process with the ATF, it is a very long and strenuous interview. They come to the home, they look at the home, business, wherever it may be, to identify where the guns are gonna be secured, how they're gonna be secured, what types of mechanisms they're gonna be using for security, locks and all that. So I do know that it is a very strenuous process with the ATF in order to get something like this done. So I didn't mean to interrupt and interject. I wanted to throw that out there just so that way you guys are aware that I do personally know what the process is, and it's gonna be a pain for Tony to go through it. And I think that they make it that way, obviously, because of the amount of firearms and whatnot, so, but I do know, I mean, I would never wanna go through the process because it's quite a long process, and they will make sure before it is even issued that all the security measures are in place before they will issue that FFL.
So Casey, when you applied, do you indicate which type of FFL you're applying for?
Yep, so I applied for 01 to begin with, and I talked to the local ATF agent, his name's Ryan, and he suggested that if I was planning on doing any manufacturing down the road, that I should just apply for the 07 now,
07.
because I were to transition down the road, it's basically starting over the
Oh, sure.
whole process.
So that's what I was wondering, will you be making your own firearm cartridges by assembling individual components, including gunpowder?
I'm not doing anything with ammunition,
Okay.
other than selling factory
Okay,
ammunition.
you're not gonna manufacture ammo? Okay.
That's a huge liability.
Mhm.
Sheriff, excuse me.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Sheriff, I have a question for you. Do you have any objections?
I have no objections. I mean, I guess I say that I have not done any, criminal background checks on,
They'll
Mr.
do that, won't
Hunter. The ATF,
They've already done
they'll definitely do that, and, as far as any restrictions outside of that, I mean, I have no reason to object, only because I know what the requirements are, and I know that, you know, especially even with the security measures that they're gonna require, the audit process and the amount of file and paperwork in the, essentially, I don't wanna say opening a home, but, I mean, you open yourself up to the ATF stopping by at any point in time, day or night, whenever they want, to make sure that all the security measures are, being adhered to, as well as all the proper paperwork, because there is a lot of paperwork that he will be dealing with that you have to keep for a minimum, I believe, and I could be wrong, I believe it's 20 years.
I think the last I heard, and this changes periodically too, the last I heard, you have to hold the forms.
Mhm.
You have to hold those until you surrender your FFL.
Yeah, and then there's a period after the fact too, because what we run across is a firearm being sold and then used in the commission of a crime, and then they wanna go back and see how that firearm ended up in the hands of the person who committed the crime.
Yeah.
And they'll go back and look at that physical paper. Again, this is my, I will say it seems like the requirements for the ATF change almost very, I mean, they change a lot.
Almost yearly.
Yeah, and so I do believe that there are a lot of gray areas that are intentionally left gray, so that way it gives the ATF a little bit more leeway on their end to hold people accountable for what they're applying for, and what they're doing. So, as far as objections, I have no objections. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think Tony is a convicted felon, but I've had no reason to check. So,
Permit carried since 2001.
but,
Sorry, Nancy, I
No,
cut
that's
you.
fine, no, my next question, have you communicated your plans with the neighbors across the road, the Olendex?
No, from my understanding, there was a letter sent to him. But I can text Matt right now, he's.
Bob,
Was there a
when
letter
there's
sent to
something that
Olendex?
when there's something that comes up like this, do you contact the neighbors?
Yes, everybody within 1,100 feet, property owner,
Okay.
so even if it's just a field and they live in Florida, they get notified.
Yeah, so that'd be some folks from Ohio that own the field, and then Matt's just right across the road.
Okay, so you know Olendex pretty good,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. And then I was wondering, are you familiar with Form 4473 or?
Yeah, 4473 is what he fill out to buy a firearm.
Right, and then how about a bound book? Is that terminology you need to hear?
Say
A
that one
bound
more
book?
time.
A bound book? It said FFL holders are required to keep a register of firearm sales in an ATF approved bound book or a computerized equivalent using ATF approved software.
Yeah, so that's what you do with disposition and acquisition. Anything you purchase for the business, anything that goes out to a buyer. Bound, or this is what binding, so I'm not sure why it's worded that way.
Yeah, they call it a bound book. And then
Yeah,
also.
it's just a ledger of everything in inventory.
And we were talking about the retention of paperwork, and it said licensed dealers must also maintain file copies of the 4473, which you're familiar with, or an E form 4473 firearms transaction record documents for a period of not less than 20 years after the date of sale or disposition.
Yeah, but I think when you surrender your FFL, or when you give up your FFL, along with that ATF.
All your record pages.
Yeah, and I've got a couple buddies with gigantic gun businesses, and
no
I got
longer
shipping
gonna-
containers, so I've got plenty of filing.
And
So
s- Go ahead, Brooke.
Is this a full-time business you're looking at, or part-time, or?
I think I put on there, it's like 36 hours or something, what it comes over. So, in my eyes, that's not full-time, I used to work 120 hours a week, so.
And are you concerned about safety? I mean, I'm not sure exactly where this location is, but on a gravel road, I mean,
I'll be able to feel I've got a $1.5 million worth of stuff outside that I would be concerned about more than a few firearms that are locked now.
As you
So I
drive
just
by
had
the
two,
property.
like 2 hours of this.
oh,
I would think the way, I'm not sure where you're putting your cameras at, but when I drove by the property last week, and,
You saw my stuff.
yeah, and I figured if you have cameras outside around there, there's nobody that's gonna get past it.
Yeah, my
because
plan
it's
is
down
to
a
put a
long lane.
license plate reader on the entryway coming in, so. There's really only one way in my yard that I've driven across.
I think with an FFL, they tell you what you need as far as security also.
Yeah, and that interview's set for the 15th.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of those things are covered with
And he
the
said he's gonna
acquisition of
bring
an
it back
FFL.
in.
They are very, very stringent. They open up your life.
Federal government doesn't fuck around.
No, they don't. They don't. I have friends that have them too.
There was even a discrepancy in the original background check, and they didn't even contact me for like 4 months. I called them, I was like, what the heck's going on? I'm like, oh, you screwed something up. I'm like, you at least let me know.
It's, yeah.
So it's
did
been
you apply
ongoing
to
for like a year.
Did you apply for the 07 then, or the 01 then now? Are you gonna be a manufacturer?
At some point, yeah, so that's what I applied for,
You applied for 07 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
but not ammunition.
And that's kind of what you meant by proposed use as sales for now. I was just wondering.
Yeah, yeah.
What follows for now?
What follows?
Well, you said sales for now, and I'm wondering, what's the next chapter then? What's after sales, if that's where you're at right now?
Well, down the road, I'd like to manufacture suppressors and firearms and things like that, but I'm gonna have to build about $1 million business to be able to afford to build a shed that would support that type of manufacturing.
Do you need to have a separate entrance then to get in
There's
to that
2
part,
entrances in my house,
to the retail part of it, or?
I don't know what the requirements are, like I said, that interview is set for the 15th this month, and he'll run down everything I need to build or change, or,
He'll come to you,
yeah, you're driving from Des Moines.
but I mean, he comes to your home, to the site.
Yep.
That's probably my questions I
Okay.
have.
Any questions?
are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. He's grown up his whole life hunting. The kids are hunting. They know their gun safety. They know the rules. I'm perfectly comfortable with it. I mean, the ATF to get that fellow is gonna put all the dot I's and cross the T's for it, so.
Sounds like you have a few hoops to jump through before you get there, right?
Well, this is like the last one, other than on the 15th, when I get all the information on what I need to do, as far as build the property for what it needs to be.
I mean, is it possible when they come and visit that you'll be like, oh geez, I'm just not gonna do that, or you could be turned down, or you're all set to go?
Well, the background check's already been done, the location approval is dictated by this meeting. And then the rest of it is just formality things, like teaching me how to fill out the 4473 as a business owner instead of a customer. So I filled out hundreds of damn things, but it's always been as a customer, so I have done the second page.
Just when you purchase firearms.
Right. So, that's all the process.
And so if someone comes to purchase, is it gonna be computerized where they have to?
No, it'll be the paper forms, I don't have real good faith in electronics. So, I think I'm just gonna do paper things at least for now. It sounds like you can switch that back and forth too, but I think paper would be just simple.
ready to take a vote? Those in favor of granting Tony the variance, Nikki,
Aye.
Nancy,
Yeah,
John? Aye. Arlene? And I will also vote aye, you granted your variance. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sheriff, for your comments. That helps.
Tony, when was your meeting then? Thank you.
January 15th.
January 15th.
And the other question I had, that's the only question I had. Ryan's ATF agent is asking for a letter from this says a zoning letter from the county saying that there are no zoning restrictions for the sale or transfer of manufactured firearms from my home.
Okay, I think that's something that
Bob would be.
Rob will have to address for you.
Oh, okay.
What was your question again? I'm sorry.
Oh,
On
just
the letter?
That planning and zoning letter.
When everything is cleared through ATF and everything. and then we'll-
No, so that's, they won't approve it, they won't even have that interview with me until you guys approve that.
Oh,
for the
okay,
zoning.
all right.
So
So,
that's why I tried to have.
yeah, you can get me their contact information and I'll get in contact
Oh,
with
yeah.
them, what they need, and then I'll communicate with them by email and so on, so everything's documented.
Okay, that sounds great.
And I had a question for the public on, was that, this is on the CUP, not a variance. This one's.
He didn't really have it marked, so we didn't.
Oh,
really-
okay, yeah, it's on your form.
There it is.
It's on mine, but.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't know why yours is, because his is, yeah,
Because I said, well, you've got variance, yeah, that's why.
yeah, so
Okay.
you can just mark that out. Let's see. Cause that's on your form. Just make that correction there.
Okay.
And you're fine. It's correct on those. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob.
You bet. Thank you.
I think if you vote no, then you need to put on your reason for voting. If it's a yes, then it's not.
this one that you signed.
Yeah, I signed the one that you finished.
Mike, did you wanna take a vote on that again, being that's to clarify that that's a CUP, conditional use permit,
Okay.
rather than variance?
We're gonna clarify that this is a CUP instead of a variance. So we'll take the vote. Berlin?
Yes.
John? Yes. Nancy?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Mike? All five have voted aye, which is, motion is carried. Thank you all. Thank you, Tony. Good luck.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, next on the agenda is we are going to look at a setback variance in Garwin for Laura. Could you step up and forward? You're applying for a variance. Is this currently just a slab?
It was a cement slab they had a hot tub on
Okay.
previously.
Is it still just a slab there, or have you built on it?
We're built on it.
Okay. Okay.
I've seen the addition. I check these out before I get my meetings, so.
Yeah, with the winter, I mean, it's been 3 months now that I've been waiting, so my construction guy had to do the concrete,
Okay, okay.
footings.
Bob, you sent letters to the neighbors?
Some of my neighbors are here.
Okay. Your neighbor?
1,100 foot radius.
Pardon?
1,100 foot radius.
Okay.
It requires 1,000, we go on extra.
Okay. Do you wanna make any other comments before we? Okay. Any
It doesn't
questions?
interfere with anybody's view, it's on my own property.
Pardon?
It doesn't interfere with anyone's view and it's on my property.
Okay. Questions?
So you had a slab and you just had to make it a little bit larger, is that?
No, we had to put footings in to build it.
And so the footings are outside of the concrete that was existing?
No, they just dug out that concrete, so it's the same,
Oh.
like if you look at the
So the
concrete
footprint
slabs.
isn't any bigger?
No, it hasn't changed
Footprint is
anything,
the same.
just the height.
Yep, But that was the only question I had, is just if it was a bigger footprint.
Question for Lee? Comment?
I'd like to speak a little bit if that's okay.
Come forward, please.
I'm
Swear to
Isaac
God.
Anderson. I am the president
You can
of
stay there.
Lincoln Park Holding Corporation out there.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have a lot of history of what we've done out there or not, but we worked on setting up our own ordinance out there. And we did get it passed. We have a lake ordinance. And we worked with Mike Marquest on this a lot. And we were going to try to do something with zoning, but it was kind of like you have to get this step through first. So we were working a lot with nuisance property. So this now falls back on R1 zoning, which does not pertain to our lots out there. Our lots are, most of them are 40-some feet by 80 feet, one lot. And setbacks in R1 are like 20 feet and 10 feet. I mean, nobody would ever be able to build anything on a lot out there. So I think what we're gonna try to do is hopefully work on our ordinances a little bit more so that we won't have to come to you, hopefully, and do that. But what, as the president, what I have done is I've been working with all of the zoning commissioners, starting with to.of and all that. What we were doing, and I visited with Robert on all this too. As the president, I sent out a letter, anybody who wants to build, I've been asking them to please approach me first. And then what I do with the owner is try to go through them, the steps that they will need. Number one is a survey. Too many people out there have built, this has been in the past, you know, oh, my lot line is that tree over there, you know, so they build a garage over by the tree, and if you have it surveyed, it's now on somebody's property. I've pretty much dealt with most of those, and we do have some properties that are built on our roadways out there. So what I'm trying to do is to stop that kind of stuff, you know. So I ask people, and I have a copy if you want to pass this down, but I always tell people, we're not trying to stop you from building, that's the zoning commission, you guys, people's decisions make. But what I've asked them to do is to try to give me a plan of their building, where are you going to build? So make sure you have a survey where your lot lines are, and make sure you notify your neighbor. And if they've done those three things with me, then I contact Robert and I say, okay, as a corporation, we have gone through with them what we think is reasonable. The neighbors agree that they're okay with maybe a 3-foot setback. Because like I said, 40 feet is not very big. So that's what I've been doing with these people. And so far with the zoning commission, we've been working pretty well with that. But we gotta make sure we go do it right. So like I said, we're gonna probably work with Mike a little bit and try to get it more zoning in, so.
Is it my understanding that you're gonna try and set up some special ordinances or zoning for the lake?
For our lake zoning, right?
Okay.
Right,
Which will solve this issue every time.
hopefully, yes.
Okay.
But it's not something that happens overnight.
Understand.
It's a lot of work. We have to
Sure,
work with
sure.
Mike, a lawyer, and we have to present it, and it has to go in front of the board of supervisors, and it has to go in front of all the residents, and all those, so there's a lot of steps to it.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, but sometimes really, really slow.
And the last time we attempted to do this is Pat East, and I'm the treasurer of the association. The last time we attempted to do this, we did it for Lake, and we found out there was other places in Tama County that had lake rules, and we couldn't match their rules.
Okay.
So we've been on the bus, we've broke down, we bought a new bus.
Oh, there you go.
And we're trying.
Is there anybody that has an objection to this? I guess I should ask that question. Okay.
No,
Is there any, okay.
it's just, this is a step that we've been asked by Robert to do now.
And I think he mentioned that before, that it's,
So it may have to come to you again
Sure,
before we get anything
sure.
done.
okay.
But like I said, we really try to work with the neighbors, and hopefully they're good with me trying to get some groundwork done before they have to come to a zoning, because I'm trying really hard to make sure people are in their lots.
Sure, sure.
And that's the biggest thing, and I wanna make sure their neighbors know. And most neighbors we have to be agreeable on this kind of of stuff. If you know lake property, people build, go look at Clear Lake, there's
Oh.
there's maybe a footpath between houses up there. So
Oh, yes.
we're definitely different than R1. You know, it just doesn't fit for us.
Sure.
So I don't, we probably need help from the Board of Supervisors, from the zoning council. I was on the zoning committee for a while too, so we probably need some help from them too to set this kind of a thing up.
To resolve this.
Yeah.
To get, so you've got ordinances in place and zoning rules in place so that,
Most of our ordinances are dealing with the nuisance properties, because we're not a village, you know.
Sure.
We have to again fall under the county rules, so, and we've been trying to work on keeping properties up to date and not nuisance junk and stuff like that. If you've been out there, you know, it's a nice place, and we'd like to keep it that way. But again, most neighbors are very willing to work with their neighbors out there, but the big thing is just keeping off of other people's property. Because that's a big, big headache. Pat can give you an example when she bought her place.
When I tried to buy my house, half my garage was on a lot I didn't own.
She didn't know.
Well, the owner before me didn't own.
They didn't
So-
even know it. They didn't know.
oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And then you contact the owner and they don't even know it. You know. But hopefully most of those kind of things are gone. I really worked on trying to get that straightened out. And the roadways out there belong to a corporation. So, it's not a county thing to have to deal with the roadways. Most people are very close to the roadway or a little bit on it. So, any questions about us out there or?
Like I say, thank you for your effort.
Well,
It
try.
makes it better for everybody when
It's-
it's easy.
I was voted in and nobody ran against me. And the last president had it for 12 years. So I'm working on what, 7 years? And I try to get things straightened out. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
And thanks for volunteering. I know this is beyond the zoning. You give up your time.
And for those of you out here, we're non-paid.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
There's a donation box on the door.
Any other questions from the board?
But yes, there's no problem with her
Okay,
building.
okay.
She's had her survey done, she's notified her neighbors, she cleared everything through our association, so.
Very good.
Commend you guys for your association, while you're trying to get things, get all your ducks in a row before everything.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah, Russ has kept
It's
in
a lot of work.
contact with me on, and handling everything, so he does a lot of the groundwork right away to make sure that everybody's okay. I still have to notify all of the neighbors and everything, but it makes the process go along a lot faster, and then, especially when they get the ordinance changed, down the road, that'll make it simpler, and these residents out there won't have to come to the Board of Adjustment when they wanna build that. But until that's changed by code, that's what they have to do.
Are we ready to take a vote? Darlene,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Nancy, Nikki?
Yes.
I also. You bet. I need a
Thank you.
motion to say we approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditionally, or the, variance for Laura Kennedy.
Okay. Second,
I'll second it.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we need to discuss the application. Jake Peters, come forward, please. You're asking for a conditional use permit to put up a sign for the repair shop?
Say that again?
You're asking for a conditional use permit to put up a sign?
Conditional use permit to out of the shop, do truck and trailer.
Okay, so,
Sign comes out.
okay, I'm sorry.
I had just asked Bob for clarification on that, just when I spoke to him this morning, and I said, have they previously gotten permission to, have this shop out there? And he said, no, it's when, I think you approached him about the sign,
About putting
and
the
then
sign
it
up
was,
to
it was
advertise.
apparent
Okay,
that they kind
okay.
of.
So this is to operate a business out there.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then the sign is secondary.
Secondary, okay.
And the business has been operating.
Yes.
For how long?
Like 2 years.
You wanna make it efficient, is that what you're saying?
I didn't know I had to go through these hoops.
Questions from the
People
board?
don't.
I know.
I know,
Just
I mean, well, I mean, a lot of people don't
I got
realize
to
they have to
thinking
do
about
all
some
this
things
stuff.
that I've done.
So you're Jake,
I am.
and so how are you related to the Huskies?
I worked at Z-Line for over 10 years for Randy Zimmer. Chris was a customer down there, so. Like, what, 15 years now?
So you're Mr. Husky?
Yeah, so I originally leased my shop to Jake to work out as a repair shop, and we're in the process of him buying the property now.
Oh, okay, so, but you live in Marshalltown and you live on the property?
Yeah, I live at the property.
You will live there though?
If we
Eventually?
get this passed, yes, I plan on buying a shop here as soon as we can get this straightened out.
So that's in the process of you selling?
Yes,
Okay.
we're working in that direction now to get the property sold to Jake.
Okay.
So I'm kind of jumping ahead to the signage part. So it said in here, petitioners plan to adjust the property line between the two lots to have a sign entirely on the lot that ends in 012, once the petition has been approved. So that would have to be resurveyed, or you're buying a sliver of
We
land?
had it resurveyed, the property line shifted from the east to the west up 250 feet. So we could put the sign and own the property where we wanna put the sign.
So the property line would go past the trees now, is that
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
There's a little evergreen tree down in the ditch, and I don't know if you can see it in the images, but.
This would be the highway going east, I imagine.
So, that little evergreen tree right there, so we come off the property line off this side over to.
So this is the west,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Okay.
so
it would
we
kind
took
of-
away from the east and moved to the
Oh, I
west.
see.
Oh, I see, you just shifted the
Yep,
property.
cause the sign is
Okay.
gonna kinda go right in that area right there.
So the surveyor's already put his mark
Yes,
out
he's
there?
already got it on mark.
Flagged
all
in
been-
pink? Are they flagged in pink?
Oh, pretty pink.
Yes.
I guess I was under the impression that the sign was gonna be on the other side when I read this to begin with, so. Now I understand that a little bit better too.
So I had just read in the, under the ag district, in the ordinance, the following uses may be permitted by a conditional use permit, provided the following minimum standards are met. The owner has a single family dwelling on the same lot of record as of the time of the proposed use. Well, you will eventually be owner, but you're not owner.
As of right now,
yet.
no, not
Yeah.
yet.
And then I know you had said somewhere on here about, as profits increase, we'll look to add employees. And the language in the ordinance says only people that reside on the same zoning lot or family members may be employed at the proposed use. So I didn't know if you could have employees that were not family members or live with you there.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, how far down the road is that?
Oh,
Years in advance?
honestly, I don't know if it'll really happen or not. I know my two boys are very interested in the trade, and truthfully, I would probably teach them what I know how to do, and I look to see either my youngest or maybe my oldest take it over.
They're just in
themselves.
school now.
Yes.
And then what's gonna be the height of that sign?
So they go from the ground to the top of the sign, it's gonna be 16 feet. I think it's 12 from the bottom of the sign off the ground, and then the sign itself on top of the post is 4 foot.
So will this be lighted?
Yes,
So it says that there shall be no more than one non-lighted sign on the zoning lot with a total square footage not exceeding 32 square feet, and the height shall be no more than 8 feet.
say it again.
But here, I'll let you read it. I have highlighted, it's in the ordinance. It just tells about the size of the sign. anybody else see that?
No, I did not.
Is that what the permit is for, is because of the height then?
Well, I was just looking at the ordinance under ag district, would that be correct, Bob?
Yes.
Ag district under conditional use permit, provided the following minimum standards are met. And the ones we've identified about the employees, the sign, and living in the family dwelling. No more than one non-lighted sign on the zoning lot with a total square footage not to exceed 32 square feet, and the height shall be no more than 8 feet, and you said it was gonna be 16.
You said non-lighted
Yeah.
sign. So if he has a sign that's lighted, that you're saying no more than, the non-lighted
true.
sign can't be any bigger than
I
32
think it
square
has to
feet.
be, I think, we're talking with Nagel's sign, for it to be that tall, it has to be that.
Lighted,
Yes.
okay, cause I don't think it identifies.
No,
any-
cause like the signs, like the No Wind Farm signs, now you see they can only be 8 feet off the ground and it's not lit. So if I do light it, then Nagel's sign says, then I can go up to the 16
And
feet overall.
that's maybe
Yes.
why they have this in here, that you can't have a 16-foot tall,
Non-lit,
non-lighted sign.
Yeah, not that anybody's gonna be flying an airplane, low, but you never know.
Okay, that's good, that makes me feel better. Yeah,
You must have good exhaust fans in there, hooked right on the house.
What's that?
You must have good exhaust, fans in your shop there that,
Yeah.
being it's hooked onto the house like that.
Yeah, it's very well built and.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an area I go by frequently and I've never been concerned about anything that I've seen go on.
It's good looking place.
It is.
Yeah.
Very well worth what we're working towards, so.
so you're both working out of it now?
No, Jake's running it for me, I have nothing to do with it.
So how, since, it stipulates that it's the owner, how far in the future do you expect to have this sale completed? I mean, months?
This year.
This year.
In 2025?
Yes. That's kind of the holdup that we ran into is the variance to work on it. So, because we were going through the process to get it bought and just come up with the sign, which then brought us to the permit.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. You wouldn't believe the hoops you'd have to jump through to start a business, so it's, you get used to it.
And it's successful? I mean,
Yes.
you kind of
No
indicated that
complaints.
there's,
And it's a great neighborhood. The guys all out there are very supportive and bring their equipment out.
and word of mouth, it just grows. from
So
there.
far, so good.
Good.
So,
Any other questions? We ready to vote?
I'd say yes, we're ready to vote.
Louise?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Nikki?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. I need a motion that we've all voted yes to approve this would be a variance.
No,
Conditional use,
conditional
I'm
use.
sorry, conditional use.
I'll make a motion that we approve this conditional use permit for Jake Peters.
Thank you, Nikki. Second?
I'll second.
John, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
thank you all
Thank you,
very much.
Jake.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you all.
Jake.
Okay, might be a question.
Oh, yes.
I'm not opposed to what you voted on, but I was just curious, you'd mentioned some stuff that does not.
Could you come forward? I can't hear you.
Sorry, Laura Wilson from Geyser. I'm not opposed to it, I was just curious, you'd mentioned some things don't, match up with the ordinance. Is that all rolled into your CUP approval, or would he have to jump through more hoops to get a variance on that cup now?
No, we've been told that the sale of the land will happen this year, correct? So that
That will be
will,
covered.
And
that will be covered in the CUP.
And that kind of hinged upon what happened.
Yes,
tonight.
because according to the ordinances, the owner who applies for the cup has to own the property.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious for
Yes.
my own, to make sure I was
Sure.
understanding that we didn't need another meeting for
No,
another
he'll-
variance on top of the cup.
This,
so.
this covers his CUP for operating his business out there. The sign falls within, since it's lighted, it falls within the
Yep, since it's
ordinances, so.
Thank
yeah,
you.
everything is covered, you bet, everything is covered, but thanks for asking.
And the sign is a separate permit.
Okay.
You gonna come back?
No, that's your.
Not that they don't want to.
Yeah, that's your separate building permit,
Should
that
we
gets
have
taken
had-
care of as you get closer with that, so
Should
we'll
we
be in
have
touch.
clarified that better in our vote, that this is for the conditional use permit for the business
And the
and the
sign.
sign, I mean, or,
Oh, no, the sign, see, their attorney had just he marked the sign on there as well.
Okay.
The reason for this meeting was for the conditional use permit for the business.
okay,
Yep, he just had the sign marked on there as well.
Okay.
That's why that was,
That was a confusion.
yeah.
but that was good questions and stuff on, that everybody's clear on that, how that works.
All good?
Hey, thank you.
All good?
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
good
you,
luck.
Jake.
Okay, any other comments, cares, concerns, storytelling? If not,
I have a question.
yes.
What was Jake's last name? I wasn't in here.
Peters,
Peters, thank you.
One more thing, I just wanna say welcome to the 2 new members,
Oh,
thank
yes.
you for
This
applying,
This
going
is,
through the process.
correct me, this is permanent, that you are appointed now to the board, or is there some sort of a interim thing that goes with
We're
it?
we're on an interim basis.
So what, if they don't like you, they're gonna kick you off, or what?
That's probably
Why,
true, yeah.
I have a question, why is it such a thing as an interim? You were appointed.
Well, there's some things that went on that, I think it was during some procedural things that went on during the hiring process that they're gonna look at. So right now, we're on a provisional basis, so.
So should we welcome you
I
or
haven't
not
been told
welcome?
anything.
What's that?
I said I haven't told, I've contacted about anything, so I haven't.
Well, welcome tonight.
Yeah,
Hopefully we'll see you here the next week.
We'll see about it.
I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll
Nancy.
second it.
Nikki, thank you. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Until we meet again.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, good luck.
It'll be a fun ride. Like I put in that application thing, the first milestone is getting through the process, just so we can get.
Yeah, that's
I wanna give you a tip.
It's been a year already.
I'm gonna give you a tip.
Yeah. Nope, that's fine, no problem at all. Rather have that than
Go back and
Well,
find
No, I knew about it.
Well, this one carries surrender.
Yeah.
This one,
You don't have it so far to go. I do not.
That's why we're okay with your.
Otherwise,
They go through every
There were three otherwise, to get 300.
I don't know what it is for me, but they have it.
We're trying to do that.
Is that at 11? That's what I was gonna do. Pat Plain, at your church on Friday. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for your suggestions and everything.
I think we're trying to do everything right. Did you see the?
It's been quite a day.
Well, this is Monday. I wanna say yesterday. Yeah, I wanna say yesterday. Maybe not. So the information.
Let's see,
What
I
else?
heard,
Oh, there's all kinds of.
and it had been,
You don't have to.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, after the day, you've got moratorium and stuff.
He's got. I have a security license.
We knew that he was ill.
Yeah, he's been sick for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they couldn't get out of the city. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's got one shot.
I would be able to.
yeah, it's at 11.
Thank you. So does it say when he passed away?
Isn't that right, Dave?
What's that?
People have an opinion, they have to show up or write about it.
I was telling Laura, I said, I told these people, I
What's the
said.
date today?
6.
6.
So I thought, well, I thought maybe Nancy tried to stir or work or do something with the ladies. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, it's only Monday.
Well, yeah, I can't call you.
Well, don't fix it then.
We're the only two people on that one.
Well, I mean, I could
They
say.
live west of 63, I live way over my house.
Is it Windstream?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know, but you don't want to get rid of your landline.
I do, but if they're gonna go internet on it, they're paying for
Yeah, I hear you.
paying internet from, I already have that.
You're welcome.
Okay, good job.
Well, we're just in May type.
What's that? It's off?
Okay.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm bringing it
Still
up,
going with.
it's kind of out of our purview, you know,
Yeah.
but as far as.
What's the reason that they didn't watch
Everything.
Didn't reopen it when they had the second opening. So now we're interviewing people for two positions. I think that was what
I thought maybe it was a sequence, when they interviewed people and then assigned their terms.
I'm not sure. It sounded like it was just the process of hiring, not the assignment terms. They got that up.
Yeah. Now they make some kind of money.
I'm so glad that
It sounded like you said
they got every day for that, all day.
Because they interviewed three people and they had two.
Mine too, my brother.
I just read between the lines, I don't.
And then your bars.
Right.
They'll have.
Which might be safe by objection to begin with, but I'm not a supervisor, so I couldn't really put it right.
Yeah, well, they might reconsider.
So I don't know if they'll just interview the other two and still decide to keep these two, or they'll agree to have.
I thought about it.
I was thinking about the way it was.
But they don't have snow tires. You know, I don't know.
Right.
Board of Adjustment is supposed to be one person every 5 years.
Yeah, it's off now, it's off.
Yeah, and so if they fix this 2 years, in 2 years don't have one, that would fix it. That way somebody for 2 years term would get that.
Yeah, by having a.
Hey guys, you have all your paperwork on the
So I don't know if I'll do that or not.
So if we said yes, we don't have to put anything down.
We need to sign all of them, or do we?
Yeah, you just put down that.
If I said yes,
Yeah, you can put your reason for yes, that, yeah, you saw nothing wrong.
I think if you vote no on something.
But I mean, am I supposed to fill this out too? What'd you say? I don't know. It's just the chair. I thought she did, because that's what he's
What is
talking
yours,
about.
what's yours look like?
It does say have like a single.
On this sheet.
Yeah, I
I said that, I assume that's what.
I didn't know it was. Oh, yeah. Same as yours. So he wants to use that?
Oh, supervisor is different, that's an elected position.
Sign here.
Conservation board will have to be in the county, but outside. Supervisor,
You can sign when you give them the mic.
I think it's because the board of adjustment presides over account issues, whereas supervisor presides over. So if it was a city issue, you have to.
Might have brought you this, that they might not again.
These guys cover county issues. So that's why it's decided to cut that people to cover. Just circle it.
So then they just jump around the next round.
David's on there. I think it decided. And I know what exactly the drivers, because all the surrounding counties have it. I really don't know if that's the start. Well, it's available still online. So it's stored, and it's be stored in somewhere else. Too, I guess. Some days. They're talking about.
Because I mean, I did tell her, I said,
Yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, you have to tell them, and they were aware.
So those all have their supervisor meetings available.
I'm warm, but I'm alright. But I'm warm all the time.
So what did you have?
Oh, wow. Is that right? Yeah.
You can always throw shots. And you ask her, okay, John, I should throw shots.
Like right now on Facebook, just the like.
Yeah.
There you go. Right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be,
When he said that, I just thought, oh, evidently bark and little crumbs and stuff fall down. I think it's like till 11. He said, I was running the litter on too. She might be going back to school. Bridget. She was sure that's what
I'm standing back because it's still.
I don't know if they're discussing ideas here. But there's a letter.
so he's running the liver.
And he's down
And
there.
runs the liver.
Oh.
Oh, you hear all kinds of stuff.
with John.
Yeah.
He does a lot of hay baling too, doesn't
That
he,
was
John?
3 days.
Isn't that John or?
Well, that's.
So he got out. He said when I was 75.
No,
Do a lot of hay
lately,
baling or
I think
something.
Smash. Oh my
Did you
gosh, I
mail?
have no idea.
Yeah, that was him.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about just?
He did that too.
No, I know,
Yeah.
November,
Then
December.
started getting some health problems and took some time off and.
That was so serious. Crushed.
There's obviously a
Sorry.
reason why it looks like it is.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, he says.
Your hip is good.
In fact, you're going to control.
Hold on, I thought that too.